Good evening, YouTube. So today we are taking a look at the burn tag team and a tier list, actually trying to tell you which burn heroes are the best to go for and which ones you should definitely use your eyes on and all that kind of good stuff. And let's just jump into it. And obviously this tier list is going to be a bit subjective. That is how it is with every tier list when content creators and other people are making them, right? Because you will always have some kind of personal opinion about stuff, and I cannot promise that I'm not going to be a bit biased in some situations here, but I'll try to be as fair as possible, and I'll try to look at it from an overall perspective. Now, the tier list today is not aimed at PvP, because there are very few of these burn tag team heroes actually that are viable in PvP. Some of them just has the tag but doesn't really do burn damage, like Popper down here. Obviously he is pretty good in PvP, but it's not because of his burn damage or his burn ability that he is there. He just happens to be a burn tag because of his basic attack having the burn, and I think his S2 as well. So I think he is the exception, and also Big Jack obviously, but he actually fits into the PvE meta of a burn tag hero. So let's just start from the top, I guess. Let's just start because that is what you want to know, right? Which burn hero is the best? And I actually think for DPS it is Chelsea. This lady here, she is the best DPS hero that you can get in the burn tag team, and if you get her, you should put your eyes on her, or you should at least invest in her and make her strongest. She has this burn up ability here, 50% burn damage. She's the only burn hero at the moment that have this ability, so that is very nice for the rest of the team. She also has an attack buff. She cleanses herself with exclusives, and this Undying Flame here does a lot of damage. And then this ability called Prairie Flame is doing up to 300% of the original damage against bosses, which means that she is very strong against bosses. So she is definitely the strongest burn hero if you want to have DPS. Now the next best DPS is actually Little Jack. He is the next best option, and the best way to build him is also the hardest way, which is actually to crit cap him. You want to have 100% crit rate, you want to have 250% mastery, and then you want to have as much attack and crit damage as possible. And the reason for this is because of his S4 here. It actually has 240% attack damage and 240 attack burn damage. So as you can see here, he can actually do both. So if you want to min-max him and do the maximum amount of damage with him, you need to crit cap him as well to get this here. 240% attack damage is actually pretty high, and it even goes further up here with 45% extra, so it's actually 285 attack damage. And with his exclusive tree down here, he does it like 10 times, so in total it's gonna be 14, because 10 plus 4 is 14. So 7 of those attacks will actually be 240% attack damage, which is pretty huge actually. Especially because he hits, So that is how you need to build him. So it's pretty hard to build. Now, if you just want him to still do some damage, but you also want him to just have his support capabilities, you should just max his mastery, which is 250% mastery. Then he will give 100% mastery to the rest of the team due to his passive ability on his exclusive 2 here. So Little Jack, very good in PvE. He actually used to be one of those mandatory heroes to clear Dungeon 40 because of his exclusive 1, where he reduces the target's attack by 40%, and it was a unique debuff, so it stacked with the other 40% normal attack debuff. This is no longer the case, so he is the second best option. Now the third best option, I'm going to go with Big Jack here. He could also be the second best option for PvE, and this tier list here is for PvE. If it was PvP, obviously Little Jack would not be the second one, and Chelsea would not be the first one. So this is just for PvE, and we have Big Jack here. He's very nice on the burn tag heroes. For PvE, he gives the speed buff, he gets some turn meter, he puts the spotlight, has a nice passive that increases the direct damage and dot on allies, and with exclusives he can also stop death. So he is the third best option. Now for the fourth slot here, I actually like Orris. Orris is an elemental city hero. You can get her by doing the elemental city. You can get all her exclusives by doing elemental city, and she actually becomes pretty good as a support hero. She is a support, she doesn't do as much damage, but she is using a lot of shield effect on your allies when they are doing detonation damage. Then they get a shield, they get this windshield buff here, and in the windshield buff is also a built-in 40% of attack speed. So it's very nice. She's actually very good for a support hero. I think she's number 4 on my tier list. Now number 4, it would have been Surtur actually for PvE, because of his S2, I mean his exclusive 2 here, where he puts this molten iron shield down, shield of fire, and he can stop some direct damage and stuff like that in the next turn. He also has good shielding effect here, but he doesn't do any damage really, and you might need him in some content because of his severe wound debuff, like Purgatory or something like that. You might need his severe wound, but other than that he's actually already been power crept, and there is a new 5th hero here in the champion squad, and it is Sotra. Sotra is one of the new hero set that you can gather with shards from the new guild boss thing here. It's this one here then, Demon Conquest. When you do that, then you can slowly build her and get fragments for her, and at the end when you have 50 you will build her and get her. Now the good thing about her is she is actually doing a lot of passive shielding, and she's also doing cleansing, and she's cleansing dot debuffs and attribute debuffs and all that kind of stuff, and over time you will be able to get exclusives for her, which will just make her even stronger. She also have on her S4 here that other burners or people with burn tech will actually get their cooldowns reduced. It says here, grants all allies Oath of Burn will be consumed after owner deals burn damage, and the cooldown of all the owner skills will be reduced by 1 turn. So they actually get reduced by 1 turn here. That is quite nice. And she also gets this cold and wet down debuff at exclusive 2, which means she'll become an even better support hero. She has the attack type, and I think she does do some damage, but I would just make her into a support if you ask me. So that is our 5th people on the tier list that I would go for. Now the new hero down here, Hat, is actually number 6 on my list. He is very strong. He seems very strong against bosses. He has a deep burn debuff. He's got a resolute buff, and he's also got attack down here on the S4, which is great for burn attack, and I think he's very nice. He's also good for the new faction obviously. So he's actually number 6 on my list here that I would go for. And other than that, it's actually pretty tied up. Obviously Surtur, you can already see here that he's dropped down a lot. I would put Surtur in the next place here after Hat actually, because I believe that the attack down debuff is actually more important than the shielding, but that is because we have both Orris and Sotra now that can do the shielding part of the kit, and so I think Surtur is actually down below Hat for me at least, because I value the attack debuff a bit higher there. So, and then got some of the old ones like Barry. He is not really used anywhere. Ogmin is not used. Andras and Morlock used to be good, but then we got Chelsea and they got power crept. But Morlock is actually pretty decent if you do not have any other options. If you do not have Chelsea, Little Jack and all those, then the next best hero for you to do damage is actually Morlock here. He also got attack up buff, he got deep burn debuff, and he does some auto damage here with his meteor falling down on the head of the enemies. And he's a great looking character, and is actually the 3rd or 4th best DPS. And then we have Andras here with exclusives. He can hit up to 7 times, I think it is. Yeah, 7 times on his S4 here. And you can clearly see here that if you compare this to Little Jack, Andras here has 7 stages of 100%, which goes to 130 of attack damage. Okay, it is it's not burn damage actually. It's just normal damage. So that is like half the attack damage that Little Jack does on his ability. So it's kind of like nothing actually. He's not that great anymore. Used to be good, but not anymore. This guy here, Gunner, is just, yeah, don't use him. The same with this guy here. Eric is also the same, don't use him. Anna is a free campaign hero, and she used to be good in the beginning. She can actually cleave a bit in arena in early game with her burn ability. If you get some exclusives on her, you can nuke people in arena. If they don't have any of the limited heroes, obviously, then you can just nuke them with the destination here. And she can actually kill people, especially if you use the Feist or Feist or whatever his name is called. This guy here, if you have him as well, to apply the burn damage, the burn debuff from the beginning of the battle, and then you go in with Anna, you can actually nuke. But this was a PvE tier list, so I wouldn't use Anna anywhere other than in the first few campaign stages, and you'll probably get someone that is stronger than her to clear the campaign for you anyways. So I think that kind of covers the burn tag team here. So let's summarize it here. Chelsea, Little Jack, Big Jack, O'Grady's, and then it is Sotra and Surtur and Hat in kind of that order for the burn team. Alright guys, I think if you like this video, just let me know in the comments down below if you need to do more of this kind of stuff here with Tierlist. We can do other formats if you want to have it, just let me know. Alright, cheers, bye.